Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7. This is Keshia.
And Sam.
Welcome to Crying in the Cinema. On this episode, we will talk about Chloé Zhao. So what happened yesterday, we went to BFI London Film Festival together. And what happened?
Yeah, it was an exciting morning. We got up bright and early and headed up to BFI South Bank. We got there a bit early, so we chilled in the members lounge, sorry, the publicly accessible, the cafe bar thing. It's called the BFI Riverfront, and we had some green tea, and I was able to use my members 10% discount.
Yeah, that was my birthday present. My birthday present for you. And we finally used it, so that was good. Because we live a bit further from Central, so it's really nice to be in London, Central London in the morning and see everyone's awake already. A lot of people were running. So.
Yeah, right by the river
So nice.
in the morning, mist. Yeah, it's all very beautiful up there.
Very exciting. So actually when we got there, because we stayed in the cafe bar area, there weren't many people, but apparently there was an entrance on the other side.
Yeah, there is I think there is another entrance. We went through the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of people didn't show up till the last minute, probably because they live much closer to the venue,
or they just live far and the train was late.
Yeah, maybe.
No, but yeah. Anyway, we were just romanticizing London, really. But it was very exciting, actually. It started a tiny bit late. It was 11:08. But so we thought it's just going to be just a talk, but for me the most exciting part of it is like we're inside a cinema and they actually played clips of her films, not a short one, like a proper longer scenes as well.
Yeah, that was helpful for me as well, because although I've seen two of her films, there were 3, including the new one that I haven't seen. So
yeah,
it's very good to contextualize what they're talking about on the stage, and then they also provided some further explanation of the characters in each scene and how that scene sat in the wider piece. So yeah, that was really useful. Also, there were great accessibility features. There were people doing sign language to the audience for anyone that needed that. And there were also some subtitles on the screen, kind of live streaming behind them. Although those were a bit hit and miss, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a bit late, and I can see someone was like editing live some of the words that wasn't captured correctly.
Yeah, and I think some of them were never corrected, but I mean, on the whole, it was
great.
Very
good. So who's Chloé Zhao for people who don't really know her?
She is an acclaimed director. She has directed, I think, 5 features, including her latest, and she grew up in Beijing, China.
Yeah,
but has drawn a lot of popularity from the US and done her films in the US.
Yeah, she's really cool. I think, well, I need to come clean here. The only film I've watched from her was Eternals, which is years ago, in 2021 in the cinema, and it wasn't my favorite Marvel film, but I think she has a talent to create really deep characters. By the way, if we want to talk about Eternals, I remember the characters more than the plot itself. The depth of the character, Angelina Jolie, Barry Keoghan, and I think it's just she always not always, but like from what I know and from the clips I watch in other films, I can see that she's such she can create stories, even like Marvel, that seems kind of a bit jokey sometimes or whimsical, but like, or it's just because it's fantasy, but she can make it as real and raw as possible. I think that's her talent, really.
I think she is great at making these very 3-dimensional characters. A lot of her older films were made with non-professional actors as well, and sort of you just soak in this reality of their character, of their lifestyle. Yeah, I think she's very good at that.
And you watched Nomadland, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, and that's probably the one that's had the most attention from
Won an Oscar.
the public. Yes, it won I think 2 Oscars, Best
Yeah.
Picture and
Oh, yeah.
Chloe for Best Director.
Yeah, right.
So
2021 was it? Oscar?
2020. Yeah, I don't know when
I
the
think
the
it was
Oscars may have
21.
been 2021. Yeah, but the film the year before. So yeah, I mean, it was quite an honor to be seeing her and being in the room with her. We had quite a good view because although we were very near the back, it was quite a small room, really.
Yeah, when we were getting the tickets, the ticket war, by the way, that's another story. But we were lucky enough to get this Chloé Zhao's film talk. But I think the studio looked really big, and then we came there, it was not that big.
Yeah, it looked much bigger when we were booking the tickets. But I think we will be experiencing a much bigger one when we go to the Royal Festival Hall next weekend.
I can't wait for that one. And I mean, Nomadland, can we go back there a little bit? Because we've been talking about that before, because you were joking, like, oh, we're going to watch Chloé Zhao's talk, and I haven't watched Nomadland. Well, obviously, you said it was a bit slow, which I don't mind with slow films. But then I think after I saw the clip, I'm so intrigued, and I saw this scene of
Frances McDormand.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I always forget. I don't want to be wrong. But anyway, I think it's just so good because so Chloe said she can just follow her around doing the most mundane thing, and it's enjoyable because she's fun and funny, and Chloe sees Frances just like a sister, really, something that she feel like she's connected by blood. That was what she said in the talk. So I think having that connection with the actor is really good. I think she believes that she understood her. So the film was just seems simple, but it's just enjoyable. And the supporting actor on that as well was like this man who's basically just lost and away from his family. He seems so real. I felt like I just saw like a documentary of this interaction between these two, sharing bartering food and stuff. So
yeah, her earlier films definitely do feel like documentaries, and they're kind of shot in that way, like you're observing how these events play out rather than having them be sort of staged for you.
One of her on my note, because there was a Q&A, this film bro asked whether she was using storyboard, because I think the reason why she in the talk she talked a lot about just like improvisation, about like see how the set goes. So I guess this person was curious whether she used storyboard.
Yeah.
So she said she never really did it, but Eternals, just because it has lots of fighting scenes. So, and she used to be obsessed with manga growing up, so to use that skill to do the storyboard.
Yeah, that was one of the most interesting things I learned, was how she'd been really into manga, and that she said that it was her dream to write manga, to draw manga when she was a kid. That was her dream.
Yeah, she said growing up in Beijing, she wasn't really she wasn't able to watch Western films as much. She can only watch it once a week, every Sunday, she mentioned. So
yeah, then they were quite the random picks. I mean, we had
it was good.
Yeah, they're
two
good
Whoopi Goldberg ones.
The Terminator.
That was her first Western film. Yeah.
Ghost and Sister Act.
Yeah. And
so
Sister Act.
Yeah, just like lots of variety there.
Yeah, but well, here's the thing. I haven't watched Terminator. You've been telling me to, but Ghost, you've watched Ghost?
Yeah, I've seen Ghost.
We like Ghost, and Sister Act's really good, by the way. Oh, we might talk about it in the future in this pod. So, yeah, on my note, this one is very intriguing. Her film from 15. That's actually her first feature film, titled "Songs My Brothers Taught Me." So the clip that they put was in a classroom. This full of animals like reptiles.
Yeah, all the kids are holding these animals.
And plus the teacher as well.
Yeah.
So the teacher asked them what are their dream kind of in the future, what they're going to be. And I think it was really raw and funny. She mentioned as well, only one of the character there was played by an actual professional actor. And the rest were actually just real people. And she said it really doesn't matter to her whether they're actor or not. What matters is they are present on camera at all times, which we can see on that clip. It feels like a real classroom situation.
Yeah, it's very, very engaging and felt very real.
Yeah. So I think that's like a film you want to watch that.
I would love to see that. The second one was it was intriguing. We saw a clip from, it was called The Rider, and that was about was it rodeo, like bull rodeo stuff, and someone suffering an injury and being unable to continue doing that. I mean, it looks a bit sad.
Yeah.
maybe that would be good.
It's again, she loves shaky camera. That was the type of film you can imagine. And she actually talked about masculinity a bit. She said she loves masculinity. She can feel it within her bones. But like the story of this film is basically showing that masculinity could be fragile. So I think she refers to like a character development, because on this clip it shows this like machismo. They want to fight, and like as part of their just social their form of socializing between these men. But yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen after that. Maybe there will be more heartfelt stuff.
Yeah, I imagine there probably is. And then I mean, the other film that they showed us a preview of was the new one. So she's done a film called Hamnet, which is about William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes and the tragedy of losing their son. In the film, they're played by Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley, and we saw a clip from that where they were clearly there was a lot of tension between them and a lot of grief boiling up to the surface, and them dealing with it in different ways. Looks very compelling, and I think we'll definitely check it out as soon as we can.
Yeah. Paul Mescal, he's good at like sad scenes, so it was quite a sad scene. And Chloe also mentioned that it was that whole scene which she mentioned was her favorite scene anyway. It was fully improvised.
Yeah, she said it was unplanned. And
yeah, so this is a very different commentary about being on set by a filmmaker, I think, that I haven't heard before. She said with improvisation, it's like she needs to be basically, her word was in my body, but what I see probably just locked in, to be really locked in on set and kind of see how it goes, because she wants that flexibility on set, really. And she was joking that you should always sage the set, especially near the monitor where you need to be locked in. So basically what she taught us was, be locked in on set, because that's when the magic can happen, really.
Yeah I think she said a lot of interesting things about that scene. One of them that I thought was interesting as well was that she tries to kind of challenge herself to see how long she can go without cutting to another shot, to another frame, and that's because she wants the tension to just build up as much as possible, and that when you cut away you dissipate that. But then she said that's balanced out, because then you get the surprise of something new. She talked a lot about balance and the interplay of different kind of polar opposites, and it was quite spiritual, a lot of the stuff she said.
Yeah, her lingo is very much new age, which I love personally. She would use the word divine and energy. And yeah, I think she really speaks it through, like what she meant. And I think many people understood, because she's very, as a person, like as a person just presenting, she's very funny and raw, and like everyone laughs. Like she's such a natural, like just performer, in a way,
Mm.
although she's the filmmaker. But it was such a pleasant experience, because to be fair, I just, I wanted something new. I've watched hundreds of filmmakers podcasts, interviews, and it's always been quite serious or technical, and I'm usually not so interested with the technical part personally, although I think we are, we're experienced enough, we watch enough films, both of us, that we can understand camera or angles or like lighting. Especially you, because you studied that actually. But I mean, but but I think it's nice to see filmmaking from a more poetic, abstract, kind of point of view.
Yeah, I think it gives her a unique voice, both
Mm.
both in interviews and also, yeah, in the films themselves, a unique kind of style. And I mean, you can really tell how poetic her style is because of the focus on the personal, very intimate and personal
Mm.
moments, and a lot of things left unsaid. But I mean, she talked about people, and another part of that kind of new age glossary, like people vibrating on the same frequency,
Mm.
and you kind of notice that in the films, in the clips we saw, like the one in
Mm.
Nomadland.
Classically, it's called chemistry, isn't
Yeah.
it?
She cited Werner Herzog and Wong Kar-wai as
Mm.
some of her key inspirational figures. And yeah, she one quote that she mentioned from Herzog, she didn't read it out in full because she was kind of just doing it off the top of her head.
Mm-hmm.
But I tracked down the quote she was referring to, and the quote was, "There are deeper strata of truth in cinema, and there is such a thing as poetic, ecstatic truth. It is mysterious and elusive, and can be reached only through fabrication and imagination and stylization." So
Did you just memorize all that?
I'm reading that out, but yeah. So that's something that Chloe was mentioning. She specifically mentioned ecstatic truth, at the term from Herzog, and I think you can definitely see that she's aiming for that in her films, like uncovering these truths, not necessarily through dialogue, but just through the medium of this poetic visualization and poetic cinema. And all this talk of poetics that she gave us when we saw her, just felt very fitting. It felt fitting for her new film that she's taken an interest in one of the most famous poets of all time,
Mm.
William Shakespeare, and I think she's clearly very interested in that kind of style of art.
Yeah, I think, well, you know more about Shakespeare than I do, because you're white. No, but no, but she actually said she felt connected to Shakespeare's stories all her life. I think she mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
So it's quite a personal project. And she mentioned she's quite overwhelmingly happy the night before, the night before our talk, because of the Hamnet, just overwhelmingly just success and praises.
Yeah, I'm sad we didn't
It didn't
get to
do
see
that.
that.
And Nick
Apparently, it was
Paul
quite the
Mescal.
night. Cast and crew very
Hmm.
overwhelmed with emotion, and they had Steven Spielberg, who is a producer on the film, came along as a sort of surprise guest,
Mm.
and he sang Chloe's praises as well. And following that, I think they led the audience. Chloé Zhao led the audience in kind of a group breathing
That's
exercises.
that's insanely awesome. Like, I would
Yeah,
love to be a part of a greater good that she leads.
but yeah, I'm sure we'll have a chance to catch Hamnet
Yes, in
as soon as
cinema.
possible.
Yeah, when is it out again?
I'm not sure.
Soon, very soon. So have we talked about everything. Oh yeah, Q&A. This is interesting actually. And we will actually going to put this clip on our Instagram at crying.in the cinema. There were two questions on the Q&A. One of them was the storyboard one that I've mentioned. That she said she did it for Eternals, based on her manga drawing skills. But the other one was very interesting and very personal to me. So someone asked about how does being a neurodivergent person affect her job as a filmmaker? Because interestingly, she mentioned this a lot about her um, being a neurodivergent person. She talked from the start uh, um, about her ability that she can capture patterns more strongly than she felt other people, and that really help her as a filmmaker. And she said it's actually a superpower, which is very interesting. And yeah, and then without sounding selfish at all, she said sometimes as a filmmaker, as a director in particular, she really needs to prioritize herself, because that's usually what's best for the team. Because I feel like if the director is in a maybe you know this as well, if the director is in a bad mood, the whole team will be.
Yeah, it definitely affects morale, the wider morale. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes she said because she's neurodivergent, she can feel a bit overstimulated, but then, she knows how to manage that in her own way. And I think that was just very interesting to talk about that. And another thing that I remember, she also talked about funding. This is always such an interesting topic in the film industry to all filmmakers about funding. And so she talked a little bit about being Chinese. She's so scared of owing people money, and this is a huge problem in the film industry. But she said she will like talk to these companies that would potentially invest in her films. But she said, well, please give me any amount of money that you feel comfortable with, and we'll keep your company going still. And then
Yeah, she doesn't want to feel blamed
yeah,
if it caused them big problems
yeah, it's interesting
financially.
though. Yeah, and artistically as well, I think, as you feel sometimes, as a director, you can feel like, oh, this is so limiting, we don't have enough budget for this film. But she mentioned about creating um these art, and this limitation actually makes her just more creative, and that's when she actually created her best pieces, really.
Yeah, really impressive
Oh,
woman.
one of them, it was Songs My Brothers Taught Me. It was funded by her, from her own pocket, was it? Do you remember that? I'm sure
I
one of
think
them.
I think she did say that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, well, she said they had funding, but then
Oh
it got
yeah.
rejected or something. I can't remember.
But in the end, it's like from her own pocket, really. So it's more of a passion project, because she said she met indigenous people, and the story is like an growing story by indigenous people, and this is
Mm.
such a personal project for her, to kind of give spotlight to these stories that is not popularized in the media.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most inspiring bits because before she was a big name. That's obviously when it was hardest for her, and she faced so many difficulties. I think she mentioned that she felt the financial crash
Yeah.
in the US had a big effect on a lack of funding being
Yeah.
available for a filmmaker like her, fresh out of film school.
Yeah, she just graduated.
Yeah, so but she said it was very inspiring because she spoke about how these obstacles kind of just helped her become adaptable, and she saw it as part of the journey, like something. She described these film projects like a river, and going down the river there were these, I mean, obstacles is almost too strong a word. It's more just like a bend in the river, or like a rock, a feature of the landscape that just means you're on a slightly different journey than you thought you were. Yeah, I thought that was kind of quite a good way of looking at it, and to kind of keep calm and keep working on it.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut that.
Yeah, cut that, please.
Yeah, I think we were learning a lot about it. I felt very, very much energized after it. I didn't really sleep well 2 days prior to the event, but after the talk, I felt very inspired to create more in the future. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think a person like her, a woman, and also a diaspora woman, which I can absolutely relate to. I think she speaks a bit differently, obviously. Like, she's finding words like me right now. Like, it just makes me feel more seen, and I feel like, wow, like whatever standard like this world is making it, I don't really have to be like following all these standards, or feel smaller or not confident because we have a podcast and we don't sound like actual, not we, I'm talking about me, and I don't sound like a professional radio announcer really. So I think it's you can always give a presentation or talk in your own way. And I think what I learned yesterday is I know this sounds so cliche, but be yourself, and sometimes being different, as long as you kind of embrace it, I think everything's gonna be fine. As Chloe did, she became successful because she's different from other filmmakers.
Yeah, what a breath of fresh air. Yeah.
I think that's about it. So we will continue editing some content, video content from the event. So that's exciting. So you can see it on our Instagram.
Yeah, if you have any thoughts about Chloé Zhao, her filmography, or the BFI London Film Festival, any of it, just write us a quick email, contact@cryinginthecinema.com, or message us on our Instagram, crying.inthecinema.
Perfect. Thank you for listening. See you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.